Right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Yes, I'm able to hear you, but not able to see you, buddy.
Yeah, just
Right. Good afternoon. How are you?
great, great.
Absolutely. So today is the 15th of March. We have last connected. That was on 13th of March at 10:30 in the 10 in the night. I think around 10 in the night we had our last conversation. And
Yes.
yesterday you had your actual interview with Morningstar data analyst. The first thing, in that mock interview, after giving the feedback, I told you my decision, and that was you would be a select. And the good news is, you messaged me yesterday on WhatsApp saying that you got selected. So here we are today, finally, a short discussion of celebration and also to know how your experience was there. Before we, begin with the experiencing, I would just request you to, narrate the complete incident, the way you must have entered the premises, from the time you reached there till the time you exited, everything. If you had a cup of coffee or water, even include that, because those who are aspiring just like you who come on our channel, they get to exactly feel in your shoes, all your.
Yeah. I left my house around 8:40. I got my train from Khandeshwar station and reached at Vashi around 9:20. So I was feeling that I'm quite late, but I reached the premises and went into the building. There was security check, and we had to, register ourselves. After that, we were supposed to go to the 14th floor where everyone who came for the interview were sitting in a big. It was a quite big room, so it was a training hall basically. So there were around 110 seats, and I counted those seats just to see how many people are, interviewing for today. So there were 110 seats in my room, or almost around 110, 120 seats. And so these were the people who came for the first round of interview, and all of them for data analyst role. Uh, there were many people who were coming from different streams. Like some people were from CFA, some people were doing internships also. Some people were from engineering background, and so am I. And after that, they started the interviews around 10 or 10:15 maybe, and they started calling people in a bunch of six, seven like this. The in charge there used to call people in a bunch of six. He used to take them to the interviewers and then come back after 5-10 minutes and again take 5 to 10 children with her, interviewers interviewing students with her, and then there were many interviews happening all around the office on the 14th floor, as there were many cabins. And each cabin, what they used to do was they used to make, say, 2 or 3 people outside the cabin on the tables or on the desks they have. And the interviewer used to call you after once the interview he was currently taking is over. After that, she called me. So I was waiting for my interview. I was sitting there, and then he called me for my first round of interview. So I started my interview. I gave the explanation or introduction as what I did in the mock interview, the same way because I was prepared with it. So then he started asking me questions from my resume mostly. He was reading through my resume, going through it, and asking me, what did you do in the project or what did you do in the internship? And after that, he asked me some finance questions. And at the end, he was like, "If you, I think you must have been working in a team in an internship." So there were 2, 3 behavioral questions about how I work in a team or how do I handle team conflicts or if there are multiple solutions for same problem, how do you take the decision to optimize your project and how that affected your project, all these questions. And after that he told me that uh, you're good to go, it's fine, I have uh, like my interview was over basically. And then after that they submit a form Not a form. Basically, they update a sheet in which you get to know that whether you're selected for the first round after the first round or not. So I was told to have a seat, and then after 5-10 minutes, I got to know that I have been selected for the second round of my interview. So I had to go onto the another floor to.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. I just raised my hand to,
Yeah.
out of curiosity. I believe what you narrated is exactly what we did in the mock interview, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, completely through the CV with your projects, then internship. I remember
Yes.
very well you spoke about, those two project and the recent internship that you got to do with your, college. Though
Yes.
that
Yes.
was core based, and then of course I genuinely think we have covered the conflict part also, isn't it? Did we?
Yes. So basically, what was happening is there were many interviewers. So some people were just asked about the company, only about the company in their interview round. But that was not the case with me. I got asked about the finance domain, the financial markets, how seeding round works, what is venture capitalist. All these questions I was asked, and at the end, then some behavioral questions, and then I was done. And
Right.
then I went to the other floor for the interview. So there were half the people like what they do. Yeah, yes, sir.
So actually, I mean, the pattern exactly which we thought for you during the mock interview for you, that
Yes,
was the actual pattern for the real
yeah,
interview.
yes,
Because
yes.
what had happened
But
is yesterday I had, taken about 10 mock interviews. And out of the 10 mock interviews, I asked, a different set of questions to every individual depending on who they are. So, like you said, not everybody were asked in the same pattern, and that is exactly how it is supposed to be because this was more focused based on individual, skill sets and individual data that presented. So, I think we were able to create the actual situation in the mock for you as a candidate. Also, you were adding something to it. Yes, please continue.
yeah, so basically, what they were checking is that are you able to speak and answer as many questions as they ask without stuttering, without taking a pause, without not answering any question is what they were checking because what they did in the first round was there were 110 people sitting around it, and in the second round there were only 40 to 50 people. So they rejected half the people in the first round itself.
Hmm. Right.
And after that, I was sent to the another floor for interview. I waited there, and then I was called into a huge working area where there were desks, and at the corners there were offices. So in that offices, second rounds were happening, and I was told to sit in front of the cabin itself, and then I was waiting for my interview round. But the lunchtime happened. So in around lunchtime, the HRs there they gave some the people who were before us. They told their results to the people interviewers, and around 20 students were selected in front of us before the lunch break, and we were waiting for our interviews. So after that, what they did is not the thing. They selected a large number of people in the first interviewing round itself, in the second part, and after that, they rejected only 5 people. They selected 20 people, and after that, when I gave the interview after the lunch break, I came back. I sat. He told me that you can either wait for 15-20 minutes or you can go home. You will get your results on Monday or Tuesday.
When
So
did he say you about this? After having your interview
yeah,
with
after
HR?
completing my second round, I asked him
Okay.
that what is the status because they updated very quickly. So he told me that you can wait for 15-20 minutes and he'll tell me the result. What is it? If I'm selected or not. Or he told me that you can go home and either ways we are going to mail you about your selection or rejection. Sorry.
Hmm. But what happened
So,
exactly in the second round of interview? What were you
so
asked?
yeah, coming to the second round of interview, basically it was similar to what I did in the first round, but it was quite a deep dive. I would say it was a little bit serious because the interview who I was talking to was having a very great experience in the Morningstar itself, and he was quite senior in his position. And we were having like in the first round itself, there were some smiles and everything happening around. I was giving answers. He was, listening to me as well. He was giving me feedback as well. But in the second round of interview, it was a very serious round, I would say. There were no smiles involved. The I was He was answering question. I was giving answers straight up itself, and that is it. The round lasted around 15 to 20 minutes, and he also asked me the same type of questions what I was asked in the first round. It started from my internship, then my projects, some of my projects, then some questions about financial market. But he did not ask me none. No, no, he did not ask me any behavioral question. It was financial markets, and then he asked me about the thing we discussed in my mock interview as well, about the thing in AI. So he asked me that
Hmm.
that was the question he asked, and then after in the end he asked me two three personal questions like who where do you stay, and who do you stay with, who are in your family and all. And after that he was like, I am done by my side, and then I asked him two questions about the company, and then my interview was completed.
Right. Interesting. In fact, I very well remember after the mock interview was done, before we went on to the feedback session, you asked me, Vicky, so they would be asking a lot of behavioral questions, is what I've been thinking, I have researched. And I told you yes, but in your case, I did not ask you many of behavioral questions because I somewhere, knew for you what kind of questions are going to come. And I feel the second round resonated with exactly that. But of course, from the safe side, we ensure that we cover some of the behavior question, and I sent you some important question on WhatsApp too. So overall, if I were to ask you, how realistic was our mock interview on a Friday, and how realistic was it to what happened yesterday in the Morningstar office?
So I would say it was 85 to 90% similar to what we did in the mock interview,
Hmm.
because there were some financial domain questions asked to me. So
Right.
that was the only change. Other than that, it was very similar to what I did in the mock interview.
Perfect. Very well said. Very well said. Now, talking about your, joining, have they given you any date or something of that sort?
No, no, they haven't given me any date. They just told us that tentatively it was supposed to be in the joining is supposed to be in the first week or the second week of April, and we'll get the confirmation tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Okay. What were the recruiter's name in the first round and the second round?
So recruiter's name, I don't remember the first name, but the first recruiter's name was uh, the second recruiter's name was
Okay. So, yeah, I think this Mr. had interviewed other three candidates of mine too yesterday.
in the round which where I was waiting for my results. We seven, six or seven were selected, and there were a lot of rejections in that round itself. There were 12 to 13 people who were, told to wait outside, and we were sitting in the conference room, and then he gave us a result that you have been selected.
Right. And rightly said by you, one thing which you pointed that every candidate was asked a different thing, not
Yeah.
everybody had a fixed pattern. That is what I would like to, say to those who would be watching and listening to our experience here, that though you're watching your previous mentees, experience, do not assume that it would be the same with you. That is first thing. Do you agree to that?
Yes, because depending on the CV or depending on the list of skills they are mentioning in their CV, the questions used to vary a lot because I asked a lot of people that क्या पूछ रहे हैं interview में.
Right.
So they were like कि and it is a pattern like some interviewers ask a set of questions like मेरे the girl who was in front of me before me. I asked her ki what is he asking. So he was like ki be prepared with your financial domain knowledge. He
Hmm.
asks that.
In fact, I think, when you sent your CV to us after booking the mock interview session, I told you, your CV is falling into the experience bucket, and you were
Yes.
like, sir, but this is what it is. So how do we go ahead? And I said you very clearly in the message, I would try to put up that screenshot here, if possible, that, the questions will definitely differ as per what you get to give it to the CV. So I think that is the right strategy. So the message out there to people who are watching, do not assume with past experience and the current experience with what exactly will happen with you. Of course, it gives you a clarity as in to understand what the conversation sounds like, but then for you, the kind of questions will be completely different. And I would recommend having a mock interview to, with me. Do you think? Would you recommend others to have a mock interview before going for the actual interview? Do you think it helps?
Yes, I would definitely, suggest that people should take the mock interview because it helps you to gain confidence and basically it prepares you about what you're going to say the other day in the final interview. And, it is like a revision or some sorts that, that you are prepared through it and you have just, revised these things or you have given someone, you are telling someone the same things the day before and it just, uh, repeats in your mind when you're talking to the interviewer. So basically, when he asks you questions, you will get to know that yes, I have answered this earlier, and I have the confidence to talk to him now. So that is the thing. It helps you to gain confidence in the interview.
True. And in fact, in your case, I remember when we, began, I told you they have less than 12 hours. It was, I think, 9:30. We have less than 12 hours because next morning, 9:30, you would be going inside. So let's cover, in the maximum way. Because after the mock interview, I also shared a detailed feedback, gave you very important, things to delete from our responses and also to incorporate. Those Does those feedback also help?
Yes. So basically, from my experience from the mock interview and what I experienced yesterday also. So if you say something like, I don't know the answer for this, or if you, so what they ask also is that they ask,
Hmm.
if you don't know that, it is a straight up no for the interviewing person, interviewing candidate, because I was talking to a guy with me and I gave my interview, then he gave his interview, and he was asked, he upright told the interviewer that I don't know about it. So he was not selected in the second
That's
round,
the
from the
that's the
second round.
worst. That's the worst thing. It's like,
Yes,
you are approaching your crush, telling her finally that you love her, and your crush asking why, and you have no reason. So of course you're not gonna get married to her. Similarly, I
yes,
mean that
exactly.
metaphor. That metaphor will help people understand if you're approaching any company for that matter, be it today Morningstar or somebody who's going for an IT company or any company that you wish to work for. You should correct. So that is
Yes.
the actual right thing to do. So overall, I'm happy, and I would like to congratulate you.
Thank you, sir.
Highly congratulate you for your achievement. I believe you also went out with your friends last evening, right? We could not
Yes, yes.
to celebrate that. So how was it when you came back home? What time did you came out from the premises? By the way, how long did it take?
Uh, Around, I guess I was at home around 5. So basically, I must have left around 4 because we left the building and then we ate something. And then I took the train and came home. So around 4 is what I would have, I guess, I would have left from the premises because I was waiting for them to get the answer and then we left. So
Interesting.
it was 4, I guess.
Great, great. I would request you to, follow up with the team, check for the updates for your offer
Yes.
letter, your selection email, because sometimes they do delay. You would have seen through our comments and past experiences, but we are hoping they must have taken care of the processes this time. So I'm sure they will receive it. You will receive it on time and like others. And I would like to, personally meet you as I've told everybody else. Like I have, the previous students who have got selected. I now have 20 yesterday 7 4 got selected including you, correct? So till yesterday I had 25 people working in Morningstar who took the mock interview with me and took that feedback, including you. Now it goes to 29. So,
Okay, great.
probably once you complete 1 month with Morningstar, they have already completed 45 days or something. I would also like to meet you, probably in the month of May, and see your first-hand experience as a, employee then, having a LAN card in your neck. How does it now feel to work for Morningstar? Would you be open for something like that? And of course, we
Yes,
will,
sir.
your identity will blur that, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will be open for that as well.
Perfect, perfect. Anything else that you would like to ask me or share or talk about?
It is just about the confidence and how you present yourself is what I would say at the end of the day. That is what the interview in Morningstar looks like. That's what they ask, nothing more.
That's an important, suggestion you had given to all the listeners and viewers out there. And most people, complain. Most people complain, "Ki, Vicky, why do you mute, questions, and why do you mute responses?" The thing is, you tell me genuinely, like we don't know each other until a yesterday or day before yesterday, right? You know me through YouTube only. So I personally feel if I reveal out the questions directly, I feel I would be doing wrong to the Morningstar recruitment team because everybody will then watch, they will know what questions are asked, what answer to be given, and
Yes,
everybody will
exactly.
get selected, right? So, do you think, am I doing wrong by muting the question and the answer?
No, no, you're doing nothing wrong while muting the questions and answer. Because interview is supposed to be something you, get. If you don't get the feeling that this is the something new I'm hearing and now I have to answer it very quickly, so there is no point of that interview.
Absolutely. And only, you realize this when especially people like you who had been into that interview room, when that, moment comes where you don't know what's going to happen, that mystery is also very important. If I,
Yes,
reveal everything on YouTube, then everyone would be able to answer what they're asking. And then it will become a problem for those people to hire everybody. And of course, they don't have those many vacancies at the end of the day, isn't it?
correct.
So that is the intention, guys. So those who may be feeling, I received a lot of comments from the recent CIS people, who were there in your batch, who were watching my previous YouTube video. They were like, "Why did you upload this if you had to mute the questions?" And see, muting question, but again, the experience is what matters. The questions could be different for every candidate, but what the mentee shares through the experience, like how it went, what was the environment like, how did they make you comfortable, what was your reaction like, that is what is important for you to listen from such videos. But the questions are individual based and they will really not be any help to you, correct?
Yes,
All right, this note, I once again thank you for sharing this feedback with us. And, thank you on behalf of everybody, just like you who were watching, these videos for future interviews. All the best to everybody. And the link for the mock interview would be in the description. I would request you to check that once and drop your comments and anything, any comments in the future you may wish. If you wish, you can respond to that as well. Okay?
yes, sure.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.